We have ancient gears for you today. We have Scareclaw, that's quite interesting, and some of these Lightsworn innovations are very scary. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. You wanted a going second ancient gear pile with the ability to plow through your opponent with the ancient gear Fist of Justice. Well, that's exactly what you have here. Now, one of the interesting tech choices here, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, target face-up spell and trap card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If you do special summon this card, you can only use this effect once returned. One of these cards can put the field spell in your opponent's field, right? If I recall correctly. And then, you just yeet off the Gear Town, and then congratulations. Gear Town triggers, and you get special summon an ancient gear monster from your hand or deck. Mission accomplished. I do see we are only doing 2 copies of the Dark Goal. While I do like this card a lot, and I do think that this card is one of those cards that does make this deck into a massively strong creature as to what it needs to do, you can't maximize on 3 of this because you're just going to run into too many brickaroos. This deck already is just the master of bricks. Like, you can build a house with this deck in some of these hands. And it's actually kind of a shame, but that's just kind of how things are. We are doing the triple Ancient Gear Advance in here. This card is actually nuts. And then we're just playing 1 copy of the Ancient Gear Duel, your little one of that you can just straight activate from the deck. Down here in the extra deck, yes, we are doing 2 Ballista. Yes, Ballista has not been like the greatest card in the world in terms of price. This card's actually very budget friendly now. You can actually get these very, very cheap. I think they're like $8. So if you've been wanting to pick up some Ancient Gear stuff, you were like pretty intimidated by the price, you're looking at pretty cheap prices now. I also see, hello Megaton Golem. I do think this is one of the funniest cards you can actually play in Ancient Gear. Of course, the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, the 4500 Massacre Machine, whose job is to end games. I also see we are playing some Threatening Roars down here. This is actually interesting for Tempide, to make sure you can get the game back to your turn. It kind of stinks you have to make passive plays like this, but you don't really have much of a choice. Outside of that, yeah, it's Ancient Gears. All right. All the love that Scareclaw kind of had going for it, the fact that, unfortunately, this deck became like just the engine pieces to Manadeum, where you would go down light hard and then start climbing up with our dear friend Reinhardt here, and that was just kind of it. That was the identity that Scareclaw has gone into as of fairly recently. But let's not forget that Tryhard is an incredibly powerful monster. All right, and also the fact that you have all of these Scareclaw monsters that give the added beneficial effect to Tryhard. Actually is pretty good. Now, is this deck going to be one of those decks that's going to stick around? It's going to be a meta challenger? No, I don't think so. But if you're looking for, a good rogue deck to kind of stand up to some of the meta, I think that this would be something that I might actually look at. One, because people don't know how to play against Scareclaw. You'll get some very free games alone because Tryhard here is just able to destroy people. And 2, as you're kind of going down some of the play lines, and especially, Fenrir just kind of being able to solo certain matchups by himself, you have a very strong opportunity just to control the game with all of the different moving pieces that you have presented to you with a pile like this. I do think that Scareclaw would be something that you might want to consider to have fun. Well, I don't see why not to try it. We're doing 2 defanging with the 2 straddle, the 1 copy of the Twin Saw. You do have the additional 2 Twin Saws down here as well. It definitely does prove being more of a localized deck, being able to board this card in and make sure you can passively use this card as you need is actually pretty strong. Outside of that, I don't really have any major arguments for this. This looks pretty good. All right. Ooh, now this is some sauce. This is Melodious with Lightsworn. Now, the thing that really caught my attention with this pile deck was the concept that Ostinato is an insane card, all right? Ostinato basically being able to fully resolve should get you, what, Universal Pendulum Scales, and will get you access to Appaloosa, depending on how, the play line definitely gets the chance to resolve. And I actually like that. I also see We are also playing Exceed the Pendulum in here. That's not exactly something that I would think that Lightsworn should be having, initial access to in here. Now, we are doing the one punishment dragon in here. If things do go well, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4 names in here. I do want to, let's draw some hands with this. So we do have the Fearless and the Ostinato and the Curious. Holy crap, that's full combo. And you get access to the Crimson guy. That's probably the best hand you could actually open up here. We got Charge. We do have the Refrain, which is good. Charge actually mills us Malicious, Nessie, and Charge. I mean, that's not terrible. We did open up the punishment. We did get into this. We would mill off a Weiss, and then, or no, we would draw 2. Just Crimson guy, a Weiss, and then mill this. Wow, that's actually insane. All right, well, this deck might actually, Curious plus this is nuts. With the Ostinato. All right, maybe, just maybe, we need to be playing this sort of pile. I think I have a new deep, profound appreciation for this deck. It looks like there's a lot of bricks with this deck, but just in those few little hands that you were able to see, like, holy actual crap, the synergy actually looks unreal for this deck. I don't know, maybe we've all been approaching Lightsworn wrong. Maybe this is just the level of pile that we need to be trying out. Cool stuff. Next up here, oh man, 60 card. Good pile, Albion and friends. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these pile builds we've been looking at as of late have not been the genuinely most interesting parts of the meta. But when you're looking at these 60 card Albaz builds, the reason why they're playing 60s is they need to make sure that they can have access to all of these these different moving parts within the combo in order to kind of do the thing. It's actually kind of a shame that they have to play so many cards, but you've maximized. You've got the triple blazing in here. Obviously you're doing triple Uber. You've got the triple Albion in here as well. You also have the double branded in red. Okay, I see him. Side decking. Is that our friend Crossout Designator? Yes. Yes, it is. Imagine just boarding and Crossout for this pile. I also see that we do side the Mud Dragon with the triple Super Pile. The fact that you're playing 60 cards and you're like, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll board in, the super polys, try to beat down the meta and answer these certain threats. It's actually pretty good. We're also doing double Grand Guignol in here. That's kind of cool. We also do have the double Albion. That's not really changed. Your 2 Mirror Jades. There is no Lulu Walleth in this. Lulu Walleth, I think, is a relic of the past. Most of these builds have gone so far away from Lulu herself. Okay, I also do see we are side decking ye old one of the one of barrier, just so you can thrust on into it if really need be. And of course the out to purely. I think a lot of people have forgotten that the Cat in the Hat just wrecks this deck, and the fact that you still have to have something like Herald of the Abyss to counteract that stupid cat. And this deck can actually do that relatively easily. So I'll take this. This is actually pretty good to see. So overall, good to see 60 cards still working. And we have another Lightsworn list for you here. Now this list is a little bit different than what we presented to you earlier. This is going to use, basically the same little engine pieces. They've cut back on Fearless, though, I'll be honest with you. We do like the engine power that Fearless gave you. It's so good. All right, but it's just, they're actually opting for a Gareth to kind of actually net some additional mill power and to get some draws out of the deck as well. Gareth might not be the greatest little friend in the world, but if you're committing a summon to this, it will probably get you a decent amount of things out of the deck in terms of turbo power. We are also focusing on a Bysteel package in this deck. That way you can put some relatively large monsters on the field, and it gives you access to, maybe some Crimson Dragon plays along the way. I also see, we have Crystal Wing in here as well. All right, so we are really getting into the realm of very interesting ideas in here. Also, Branded Regained in this deck feels incredibly good. And of course, the Judgment Dragon with the Punishment Dragon, the merged little fusion down here as well. And we are playing the Nemesis Corridor to, just kind of net the Colossus value if you happen to see it's one more Floodgate monster on the field. And if you play against Tempai, you can deploy ye old Electromagnetic Turtle against your opponent, because remember, during your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, this lets you end the battle phase. I love this card. It is frickin' hilarious. So, interesting stuff today. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.